just sorting out the usual links and I'll be right with everyone. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. Alrighty, hope everyone's having a good day. Webcam on. I'm not sure how sort of well it shows, but it's sort of very exciting. I've basically got an air gun that works, well, a functioning air gun now, and I use that to apply my body paint. You can't really see it, and obviously it's still not. I mean, I need some practice, but it's just obviously because it's fine spray, it's just so much smoother than using a brush. So I'm very excited for how that's going to go. Cosplay wise, I haven't really been. Well, I'm obviously going to get started on the ears next. I haven't actually started the sculpt, but I've got all my reference images ready. But yep. I am. Apologies if this is too much information, but also some good news for me. I've confirmed. Well, I've confirmed my bra size is up to D cups, which is validating if nothing else. Doesn't really feel like it, but D cup bra seems to fit me better than my old one. So, yeah, and obviously I need to change my source from no less. Oh, did I say again? I meant airbrush. How's it going anyway? Hope you had a good weekend. Just adjust the properties so it's picking up Great Ace Attorney instead of Baldur's Gate 3. And the audio. Okay, there we go. Oh, I need my controller on. No less. And again, it's not what you thought it was by the name then. Yeah, my bad, mixing the two up. Hey, Kate. Yes, indeed, Brie. How be thee? Yep, beat you to it. Okay, I don't know what my phone's doing, but it keeps jumping about. There we go. apparently it considers the cable to my microphone valid input. Anyway. So yeah, as I was saying, today I've got my airbrush working, and I basically, from a sort of body painting prosthetics YouTuber I follow, basically recommended you can use Maven sort of water activated, like the Paradise range, if you just mix it with water and then put it in the airbrush. So I tried that, and it's worked out pretty well. Icky, you're pretty good. You'll be having a steak in the next 40 minutes or so. Heck yeah. How be I? Yep, well, I'm pretty warm. Ooh, in fact, you know what? Just give me a sec. Just gonna grab something. Oh yeah, we're into the second phase of the trial. Okay, I'll be right back. Yep. I was going to wear this, but I completely forgot. Yep, I've got my new jacket. And when I say new, I mean I made this myself. It's a crop jacket, so it sort of ends just here. But yeah, I'm very pleased with it. It's pretty much the look I wanted for my tiefling, but, you know, good for everyday wear as well. McCall's M8011 View A, I think. So sort of a jean jacket, but I made it from faux suede. And yeah, just probably the first New Year's resolution I've managed to complete in a while, so heck yeah. Might iron the collar down, just because I'm not a fan of the pop collar look, but anyways, as the judge says, order! Please let us resume proceedings. Icky, from J jacket to F Sue jacket. Yes. Witnesses, you'll now retake the stand. I'm probably going to regret putting this jacket on because warm. Luckily I've got a cold drink, just some nice iced apple ties. I presume you heard the defence counsel's summation examination? Oh, yeah, Governor. I did, Gov. I did. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Cool, blimey. This is going to be hard work. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Winterbanks. Notice you forgot Horace and Jasper were here. Exactly. Or, you know, distant ancestors of Waluigi and Wario. Well, it was Bedlam soon as, weren't it? It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out, my Lucy Lockets. However, that was a lie. You brothers. Caught blimey. On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter. We never done nothing of the sort. How do you figure that out? You'll now give formal testimony once again. You'll tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question, and this time you'll tell the truth. Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment.
And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. Oh, ellipses not, geezer. A thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, Gov. We hear ya. We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll peach.
Okay, let's go through this again. Illegal entry, the whole truth.
Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshot, see? Made us both jump and all that stuff went flying. Lucky it didn't give off, right? We were thinking the shooter would come out the door and get us next. We stuck everything back when we found it and scarpered straight into him in the black. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance, did we?
Oh, I missed that comment. Icky. Thankfully, Big Worm hasn't made its way quite up to Scotland yet. Well, that's fair enough.
So you admit to the defence's accusation? You did indeed ransack Mr. Winterbank's countertop on the night in question.
Not ransack, Governor, no.
That's right, Nash, that's right. It's more like we tidied up, yeah? Ellipses nuts. Right, sorry. By their own admission, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery under dubious circumstances. However, they panicked and fled on hearing the gunshot, having first made good their mess.
Well, you say it, we hardly sound like refs at all.
We don't, Nash, we don't. Can't you make us sound a bit more cutthroat? It can't just be a coincidence these men showed up at Winterbank's that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it.
Okay, here we go then.
Hold it!
If that's the case, why don't you testify to that effect in the first place? Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we was up to no good. Which you weren't. Well, Cedric and go me old China, we'd only land ourselves in even more trouble. And in fact now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourself in even more trouble. That's rotten luck. Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tied the place up. Sorry. It was when we heard the gunshot, see? Made us both jump, and then all that stuff went flying. Now let's see if you followed the testimony right here and push this bit out. Voila, a car. Exactly. So what you're saying is, the sound of gunshot shocked you so much, you knocked all those things off the counter. Well, it shocked just one of us that much, yeah? This bag of nerves needs to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, alright. Blimey, me dead granny would have woken up at that bang. Big brother here screamed like a bloody baby and fell over the counter. He knocked over a load of books, a candlestick and some skull whatnot. Dad got tangled up in some marionette which knocked over a picture frame what knocked them scales on the floor. You've really mastered working quietly then. What a racket. My granny would have been scared back into her grave at a clout like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And then some. I mean, it was quiet as a mouse and then, all of a sudden, bam.
Excuse me.
Okay, detective, what you got to say? Look at him go. Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? Boy, like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels. No, something to add about their testimony.
You seemed to react just now what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even bother to mention it. Only, well, the fact is, in case you don't get sold if you ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? Notice he shoves his whole head at those fries like a pelican grabbing a fish. Yeah, he makes me think of kind of like, well, it's very sort of Lupin the Third. Sort of technically sort of a semi-serious sort of detective crime series, but, you know, not afraid to just go wag. As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for a questioning last night, and the statement they gave then told a slightly different story to what they're saying now. Oh, did it? You claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot. Might have. Does ring a bell now you mention it. Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still. I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, eh, fellas? If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has hitherto proven to be, I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment to bear against them. Amazing. Right, we'll get it right this time. Amazing. It's an ace attorney game where the protagonist isn't the one being, well, isn't literally the most hated person in the entire court. That's it, yeah. It's all coming back to me now. Then speak. Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds, sirs. Right you are, Cuff. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun."
Hold it!
So in fact, you heard the voice and the gunshot almost simultaneously. We did, Guff, we did. Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yelling and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. Bam. Kind of thing. A career in acting tragically missed. And where were the voices coming from? Could you tell? Of course we could. From the other side of that door behind the counter it was. From the storeroom, where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Winterbank. On me granny's life, of course it was. On his granny's life, of course it was. So that would mean that you both knew Mr. Winterbank and the sound of his voice. Hey, so that would mean what? What, Nash, what? Any ideas? Yes, counsel, indeed it would. No, we didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to know it when that bloke and all the fancy clobbers giving us the evil eye? Ellipses nuts. If you value your lives, you'll ensure your testimony is accurate and true. On me granny's life it is. On his granny's life it must be. It's a good job his granny's dead. To summarise then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then hear the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. You make it sound like we're clumsy. Don't forget we tied up after like good little boys. Anyway, the way I see it. The bloke what owned the place was holding the gun, so he should have just fired it instead of yelling at the girl.
Hold it!
You're saying that Mr. Winterbank had a gun in his hands? Oh yeah, bet that was a sight, eh? The two of them waving guns at each other must have gone pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted out, we heard the geezer say, "If you don't want to get shot." Didn't really sound like he meant it, mind. More of an empty threat, you could say. Mr. Winterbank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping. He'd really put a bullet in someone's head if required. Oh yeah, content warning. Oh yeah. Yeah, basically he keeps holding the gun to his head and threatening people. That's someone, being himself, of course. Good grief, extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided. Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger the other night. Only, the person he was going to shoot beat him to it. Cooked his goose proper. Bet he wished he'd squeezed the trigger instead of wasting his time shouting, "Give me that gun." And it was directly after this word he heard the gunshot. It was more or less at the same time, Gov. "Give me that gun." Bam. Kind of thing. Yes, a career in acting very tragically missed. Then we heard the sound of someone hitting the deck, before everything went dead quiet. After that, we done a slapdash job of tidying the place up. I love that little face they're both making. Lummy didn't give us off, give me a fry. We was thinking the shooter would come out the door and get us next.
Hold it!
So you didn't try to open the storeroom door then? Not in your life. It went deathly quiet after that, did. Put the wind right up me. But anyway, the door was locked, weren't it? No way that was opening. Yes, of course. It was locked from the inside, or so we've been led to believe. It was, Gov, it was. From the inside. Right, so we had no way of knowing what was going on in there, did we? Unless there was some other way to get a view of the inside of the storeroom. Like through the keyhole or a spy hole, perhaps. Don't ring no bells. Don't light no lights. We had to cut and run before we noticed anything like that. We're still cutting our teeth in this game, see? But one day, we'll really cut the mustard. Please cut it out. But as we know, behind that door was the victim's lifeless body, with the accused not 2 feet away. Yes, unfortunately. Well, here's the thing. What doesn't add up there is he threatened to shoot her, but she apparently had the only gun. Gina was there, unconscious, with the gun in her hand. Icky, surely you have the mustard that needs cut. There's another problem entirely. True. I mean, that's always bothered me. Like, is it cut in the sense of to mix the mustard with something? Like, you know, spice the mustard. Spice it with things other than mustard seeds. To confirm, it would have been correct to say neither of you sets foot inside the storeroom. That's right, Gov, that's right. Couldn't have, even if we wanted to.
Hold it!
Yes, whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, yeah, it was a bit hasty there. It wasn't actually, it was. Truth be told, I was already shaking like a leaf when you lot turned up. If you're shaking like a leaf, don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice, miss. Good advice. Truth be told, my mind went totally blank. Before your mind gets totally blank, make sure you don't have a loaded gun in your hand. Mental note made, miss. After that, we legged it down the street, but apparently it looked dodgy to the coppers or something, so they clapped the derbies on us like winking. And after you'd been handcuffed, the police found this revolver in your possession, correct? Well, yeah. But listen, that proves it done, eh?
Hold it!
That's odd. Twitch app seems to have disconnected. No less, getting gun safety tips from the kid who constantly aims a smoke grenade launcher at people at point blank range. Well, no, it's Gina who has the grenade launcher. She's pointing a missile launcher. And why should we believe that? Hey, what? Well, because it's true, innit? The place was totally empty when we went in. At that time, the victim was already in the storeroom, having been forced to open the door by the accused, who had a gun to his head. In other words, on the night in question, these two witnesses never even laid eyes on the proprietor of the pawnbrokery, Mr. Winterbank. Correct. You got it, mister. Down to a T. So the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Winterbank. Is that really true, I wonder? That's it. That's the full extent of their testimony. What is, Rene? You look very fierce. I could pour you some herbal tea if you're tired. Oh, thank you, but I'm fine. Being such a logical thinker, you'll probably laugh, but I feel as though these brothers are still hiding something important. It is nothing more than a feeling, though. I've no proof to support it. Well, feelings can be very logical at times. Sorry. People's expressions, the movement of their eyes, the words they choose. You can take all that in and your brain will quietly analyse it to come up with a feeling, like you describe. You've concluded that there's something suspicious about this testimony without knowing why, that's all. I think you should trust your instincts. Iris, thank you. Sometimes I think if she's 10 years old, I must be 5. Okay. Okay, I think this is the one, because obviously we know that, Gina was the one holding the gun. So something doesn't add up here.
Objection!
You're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winterbank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture? Yes, Nash, he has. No question. And yes, the photographic evidence from the time of the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winterbank was not in possession of a firearm of any description.
Objection!
You surprise me. Does the defense really intend to highlight evidence that compromises the position of the accused even more? Furthermore, the defense has failed to establish that the photographic print presented was taken a suitably short time prior to the victim's death. Your chronology is severely lacking, counsel. Yeah, that's right. Too right, Nash, too right. The old geezer couldn't have been able to turn the tables on the girl, eh? Hardly likely. No, I'm afraid this wouldn't stand as conclusive evidence. Continue with the cross-examination, counsel, and heed my earlier warning, witnesses. Skulkin's never skulking. Okay. What am I missing here? Oh wait, he was shot in the back.
Objection!
So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Winterbank, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture. Yes, Nash, he has. No question. And yes, photographic evidence obtained immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Winterbank was not holding a firearm of any description. Hey, you what? Okay, there we go. Go on, bet it, that ain't it right?
Objection!
There can be no question that the victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remind the court that Mr. Winterbank's gun was found at the scene. Not only was it identified as the murder weapon, but it was found in the accused's hands. Yeah, that Multula used the victim's own gun to finish him off. Give me that gun. Bam. Kind of thing.
Hold it!
Stay exactly where you are, right there. Okay? If the crime had taken place as you so colourfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and a significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Goodness, are you sure, counsel? You intrigue me, my learned friend, but let's see some evidence to support your claim. Where is the proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moments? Yeah, it's the photo again because he was shot in the back. But let's just say, just in case. Because on this channel we support safe scumming.
Take that!
According to their testimony, the witnesses claim to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by a gunshot. Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe. Yes, that's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, if I could ask the court to study the photograph of the victim's body again, you can clearly see that Mr. Winterbank was in fact shot from behind. So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. But, to God's honest truth, it is Nash, it is. When he was shot that night, the shopkeeper had a gun in his hand, and we saw it with our own bleeding eyes. Did I hear you right just now? You actually saw Mr. Winterbank holding a gun? Oh dear. Something like that might have slipped out. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard the admission by these two witnesses that on the night in question, they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun, which can only mean that despite their testimonies to the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Nash? I love these two dogs. It's absolutely wonderful being not the most uninformed person in the entire court. Order! 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 Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, thing is, it weren't supposed to, Yeah, I still keep looking at these two. Like, to be fair, I don't think it's fair to call them Wario and Waluigi. They are literally just Mario and Wario, but criminals. It would seem that my previous warning fell on deaf ears. I made it quite clear that false witness would be the death of you. Am I to understand that you replaced the untruths of your original testimony with renewed lies? Did you turn this court of law into a house of lies? Sorry, I couldn't resist. Ever so sorry, Governor. Truth is, you see, cut it out, Nash, cut it out. If we blab now, you know what it'll do to us? Who are they talking about? Let me make your position here perfectly clear. You'll talk. There is no other option available to you. Hey, bruv, come on, the game's up. But you'll have a guts for garters. In case it hasn't quite sunk in yet, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. Hey, on the night in question, it is now apparent that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand that you testify again to explain the precise circumstances in which this meeting took place. Well, do we have to? On pain of death. He does not mess about, does he? I suggest you make yourselves fully aware that this is your very last chance to tell the truth. Alright, so we just got inside the gaff and heaved a sigh of relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and then he flew at us like he was possessed. I thought we'd had it. Icky. The court demands that you adjust your testimony and tell us what we like. Oh, someone from the public gallery just requested you, incorporate Sonic the Hedgehog in somehow. For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He choked me over the counter. I pulled my gun on him, then he legged it through that door into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's what happened, I swear. So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop. Well, yeah. Sorry. Well, we found ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. But honest, Governor, this time? Yeah, this time, Nash, this time. We ain't got nothing more to hide. Very well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. This is it, boys, this is war. Why are they relieved? When you say geezer, I presume you mean the victim and proprietor of the shop, Mr. Winterbank. Icky. A member of the gallery shouted "Freebird." This is relevant to the case and will be stricken from the record. Now they're trying to torch you, counsel. Who else? Sorry, I mean, that's right. We was keeping a close eye on the entrance to the gaff, obviously. But we never thought no one was going to come out of the back room like that. The back room being the pawnbrokery storeroom. Yeah, that must have been where he popped up from. Only place he could have been. So it would seem the victim was already in the storeroom when these brothers entered the premises. Which means Guinea must have been there at that point as well. But that doesn't make sense, does it? If Junior had dressed Mr. Winterbank into the storeroom with her at gunpoint, then why would he have emerged from the same room all alone when the brothers arrived? Oh, I don't know. Did you see the accused at that time? What? That Moltoller? Sorry, that Moltooler? Couldn't tell you. No way, Cobber. We had a bigger fish to fry then. I mean, the old geezer just lost it. You mentioned that Mr. Winterbank shouted those words in your previous testimony too. However, you claim that you heard him yelling them on the other side of the storeroom door. Oh, did we? But the truth is, he was shouting those words at you, wasn't he? Well, yeah. Was the victim, Mr. Winterbank, wielding a gun at the time? Was he ever? Blimmy loomy. The great ugly barrel he has pointed straight at me front piece. So what you're saying is, You definitely saw Mr. Winterbank with the gun at that time. Is that right? It is, Gov, it is. Spot on. Then all of a sudden he came at us, he did. It was Bedlam. Didn't know who was going for who. You were clearly all going for each other. Like Nash said, we thought we'd had it. I mean...
Hold it!
Yes, I noticed that you mentioned the counter in your previous testimony too. Well, yeah, of course we did. You knocked over a load of books, a candlestick, and some skull and whatnot. That got tangled up in some marionette, what knocked over a picture frame, what knocked them scales on the floor. So in fact, it wasn't the sound of the gunshot that shocked you and made you knock those things off the counter. Well, Big Brother here went flying over the counter like a gunshot, I can tell you. Then the old geezer pinned him. He did, Nash, he did. If you hadn't been there, the bloke would have flattened me like a bloomin' pancake in seconds. At the time in question, the alarm was raised at the local police station via a secret cable from the pawnbrokery. There is a button under the counter used to activate it, which was presumably pressed by the victim. That's right. When the brothers fled the scene and back onto the street, they ran straight into the arriving police, didn't they?
Poor Mr. Winterbank. He did everything he could to protect his shop.
Hold it!
Were you intending to shoot Mr. Winterbank? No, never. I was just, looking out for my bruv, weren't I? He was being flattened, don't forget. By a man whose shop was being burgled, yes. And then, the man split into the storeroom when you pointed your gun at him. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. He shoved me away, then ran off through that door and shut himself in. There's something wrong about that last remark. Something didn't quite ring true.
I wonder why Mr. Winterbank ran away into the storeroom.
What?
Well, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him, with a gun.
Yeah, that's right. Gina allegedly used Mr. Winterbank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom door. In which case, how'd that gun end up in Mr. Winterbank's hands again?
I have no idea. But that is strange, isn't it?
This little inconsistency could be significant. I should make a mental note of it. Look, the point is, me and my brother here. That's right, Nash, that's right. Me and my brother here.
Hold it!
Okay.
You said you have nothing to do with it? Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov, nothing. The old geezer went and shut himself in the back room, didn't he? Locked it was, from the inside. We know it was, because we tried to open it. But it's a decent door, that one. Good and strong. Wouldn't budge an inch. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom of the pawnbroker, there was only one other person. The sole person who could possibly have shot the victim, the accused, Miss Gina Lestrade. It would indeed appear so. What say you to that, counsel? I don't know. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could possibly have shot Mr. Winterbank?
Who could have shot Mr. Winterbank? I mean, Mr. Winterbank could have.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Eh, what? What's that look for? From the moment you admitted that you'd encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial changed completely. It did? What is your point, my learned friend?
Icky, you have steak, and you have set the fire alarm off twice. Well, can't fry a steak without a couple of, fire alarms, I guess.
The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. Winterbank? And it is the belief of the defense that the defendant is not only the only possible answer at all. You have my attention. In that case, let us return to this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom and transformed into Frogger, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be? Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect of 2 conundrums. 2, my lord. Twice as many chances to be right, maybe. Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim, and furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Understood, my lord. Are you right, Rene? I'm not entirely sure, but there's one thing I am sure about. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. Nellis humming the Frogger theme. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun. Okay. I guess they could have fired it here, or they could have fired it from here.
Take that!
The defense believes the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. And in answer to that second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? Oh yeah, there was a hole in the door. The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. Hey Max Sting, how's it going? You think you haven't missed as much as you were worried? Yeah. Basically, we've just proved that the those 2 criminals from the last stream were lying a lot. It's going A with a lot of H's. Well, that's something. Continue. You think you missed the last stream? Basically, Gina, the sort of Cockney pickpocket girl with a smoke grenade launcher, is accused of murder, and we're trying to prove that she couldn't have done it. Mr. Winterbank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back, and apparently, basically, 2 random criminals, the witnesses to her shooting him. But obviously, because they're criminals, they've been fibbing quite a bit, so we've mostly just been interrogating them. Mr. Winterbank died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death, which tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired? So, you're adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom? Okay, notice to Max Sting. You're doing good. You had D&D last night. It was interesting. Max Sting, you two had a role-playing game yesterday as well. Your character is the first cousin to the Crown Princess and is involved in her kidnapping because it was going to happen anyway. Wild. Oh yeah, Friday was the first session of Uplift. Nick's basically it's a campaign powered by High Magic Low Lives, but it's sort of set in the real quotation mark world, and it's about teenagers who develop psychic powers after taking drugs at Burning Man. Although my character wasn't actually, because she was apparently like an early test subject, and so it had powers for years, so that was fun to play. Oh yeah, it was very fun maxing. The first session's actually up on Nick's YouTube channel now if you want to watch it. It went some wild places. For example, because of the way magic or superpowers here work in high magic, low lives, the sort of final boss of the session's magic was the military industrial complex, so he could do stuff like summon sentry guns and call in airstrikes. Yeah, my character's powers are portals and one secret thing. Emphasis' character is drugs, narcomancy. Kara's playing a character who's got citrusmancy. 8-Bit Goggles is playing a character who's got, I can't remember what it was, but like, he's basically playing like Eddie Woods and all the sort of Cordelia Chase and all the Mean Girl characters. I think her powers are law, I can't remember. And our character is a goth who doesn't actually have any magic. Like, the only character who just tried to do magic in his life. Yep. Icky is Goggles playing a librarian? No. I believe his character is a Harvard dropout who studied law or something. Although, ironically, Al is playing a librarian. Max Ding, your wife is a certified librarian, but no one's hiring. No joke. Icky, misheard and misremembered. Ah, that's fair enough. There was a lot going on. But yeah, his character's basically got a load of mental manipulation powers. And obviously, my character already knew she had powers. So she was sort of using them, and everyone was like, "Where?" Until they started using their own. Yeah, I've got a sort of slightly different. Well, I think all the characters have basically secrets going on, but my character's mechanically slightly different because of the way she was being played. Yay, extra responsibility. To be fair, Nick's quite good at giving people sort of like extra things to do for their characters. Like, for example, when we were doing the Savage Worlds Mobius Command game, my character was supposed to be like the smart one, so he gave me a load of trivia she'd already know. That was fun. Anyway. So, you're adamant that the shot was fired from outside the store? Notice Descent into Avernus kind of has a lot going on, and using inspiration from a blog's remix of it to add a bit more. Oh yeah, that's the one that's the prequel to Baldur's Gate 3, isn't it? Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony, I pulled my gun on him, then he legged it through the door onto the back room. If Mr. Winterbank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time. Oh! It was at precisely that moment, when the victim was fleeing for his life, that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom. Where? Ellipses nuts. Come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial? Moving on to the findings of the Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was slightly shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Max Sting, so this is obviously not what happened, right? But it's a nice neat trap to make them recant the testimony. Could be. I imagine there's like a dozen more twists to come. But they're clearly sort of being threatened by someone, so I imagine there's something else going on, yeah. Notice? You guess? You don't know exactly. You think a version of Descent into Avernus is canon to Baldur's Gate 3, but you don't know how connected they are. Basically, the tieflings who are all refugees throughout the Baldur's Gate 3 storyline, where kicked out of the town from descent into Avernus because they got blamed for everything. Also, one of the big bads is involved somehow. Poor man, shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety. Of course. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it would have still have entered his body on an upward trajectory. So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Winterbank.
Objection!
I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. You also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock. Yeah, but what if someone else locked the door? Yes, there is someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. Is that so? Very well then, counsel, present your hypothesis to the court. In the scenario just described, the defense's assertion is that the victim was shot from outside the storeroom, in which case who shut and locked the storeroom door from the inside? I mean, if you were in a lockable storeroom and you just seen someone shot dead in front of you, what do you do?
Take that!
Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
Icky, you would not stand by the door. Good point. That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room. For what possible reason? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I'm inclined to agree, I must say. Well, counsel? Exactly, Maxting. To not get shot. Oh yeah, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Half-baked notion is for no place in my courtroom, counsel. Remember that, please. Of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it? Okay, Iris is the only intelligent person here. It does. Well, if I was Ginny in that situation, I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, those two burglars had just fired a gun in her direction, hadn't they? Oh yeah, obviously. Before the two brothers arrived, Mr. Lestrade and Mr. Winterbank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at the time, but at some point, Mr. Winterbank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom. Intruders, eh? That's us, bruv. If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Yes, it would. Then probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door, hoping to escape danger. Thank you for the quote, Nellis. I'm sure Iris Spring won't abuse that. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Winterbank fell to the floor where he was, just inside the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment? Oh, I see where you're going with this. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer. He just murdered Mr. Winterbank. As soon as that thought struck Miss Lestrade, she slammed the door shut and locked it, in order to save her own life.
Hold it!
But I mean, we ain't the ones who done it. We ain't, Guff, we ain't. You gotta believe us. I mean, come on, we never shoot no one. That's blatantly untrue. I know for the fact you would, because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Winterbank's murder. Oh, well, Where does this leave us? You mean to say it wasn't the pickpocket who shot the pawnbroker after all? I should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as a dense forest. I like the detective still getting lumped in there. That's amazing, Reno. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on your side now. I know, first time ever, and probably the last. Well, I think you've done it. Surely they'll have to give a verdict of not. Here we go. Oh no, Van Zieks is about to unleash the Zerglings. Exactly, Maxting. Don't pull a gun in court. No one seems to realise that. An admirable effort, my learned friend. What's this now? He's laughing. You find the situation amusing, Lord Van Zieks? I myself find the defence's argument most persuasive. Oh yeah, he's been addressing the Rhinos K as my learned friend the entire time. I think it's just courtroom protocol. Icky, we've actually been upgraded to learned, have we? Yeah, he's been saying learned the entire time. How many Boston glasses so far? I don't know, a lot. I dare say. Such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street formers in your provincial eastern nation. Oh, sorry, chicanery. Nullis, you had a call, have you missed anything? We've sort of maybe proved that it must have been the brothers who shot the pawnbroker, because they could have shot him from outside the door while he was running away. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand. Because, you see, it contains a fatal flaw. A fatal flaw? Yes, it is doomed by the narrative. Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing?
Dun dun.
I say, Lord Van Zieks, might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is the troops on the ground to the troops on the ground,
Icky, the TV tropes reference counter has increased by 1. Wait, where's the TV tropes reference? Oh right, fatal flaw, yeah. To be fair, doomed by the narrative isn't a TV tropesism. It's more of a general academic thing. The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. There goes another glass. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets.
By George, count bullets?
Oh dear. You noticed them.
What's everyone talking about? Counsel.
Yes, sir.
Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime.
2 bullets.
Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back, ending his life. And the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, on his arrival at the scene.
Nullis, is that a TV tropes reference? Handshake? Is that a JoJo reference? Icky, you're thinking of Doomed by Canon, which isn't the same thing. No, that's when a character in a prequel or an alternative world is doomed. Sorry, or a remake or something, where a character must necessarily die. Or rather, the audience knows they will. Which of course becomes a important plot point in Into the Spider-Verse, I believe. Max Sting, still 1 boss and 1 glass this stream so far, but by the next time we see a glass it'll be number 2 by your count. The count is for you, tracking how many minimum he must have had on hand. Naturally.
Indeed. The defense presented a picture showing the damage caused by the second bullet earlier in the proceedings. The bullet which injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar.
Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonged to the victim, Mr. Winterbank.
and the Skulking Brothers revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yes, indeed it does. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. You yourself told the court only moments ago. They are great panicked eyes. That these two brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Yes, I did. Oh my goodness, I think you'll find. If the single bullet was fired from the brother's gun hit Mr. Sholmes, it means.
Winterbank, not shot by the same gun. Stop, only one bullet, stop.
Exactly. Yes, this Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly correct argument. However, it was never anything more than a diversionary trick, with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. KO. Yuki, help! Testifying in a court of... wait. Working in a court of law has severely injured me somehow. Yeah, the other guy shot Sholmes, and so he couldn't have shot Winterbanks because his gun had only fired once. Order! 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 Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. Lord Van Zeeks? But this court needs to open its eyes. The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile. No, the person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She has a past riddled with criminal conduct.
Max thinks that leaves two possibilities. The tall guy was crouching or otherwise near the floor when he fired, or they swapped guns. Yeah, but there's no way they could have swapped guns, is there? Basically, the important part was the gun they had was only fired once, and we know that they shot at Sholmes, rather.
The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbroker on the night in question, with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print, which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. And I have here in my possession one more piece of evidence the prosecution wishes to present. That disc. I'll be taking that, whatever it is, of McGilded down to the yard, thank you very much.
No, don't give it to him. That's mine, it's mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to Mr. McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now.
Yeah, that music box disc, McGilded's music box disc.
The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Winterbank, the accused attempted to make off with this article, which clearly doesn't belong to her, and with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence. Good gracious. Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets that fact is its peril. I see. I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel, as a grim testament to the defendant's character. Oh, Lord Van Zykes, Inspector Gregson? What? Yes, Inspector. We had a meeting at the yard yesterday with the prosecution service, and I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
Exactly, Maxting. Fine Java. Jeez.
What's this all about? Why is the inspector acting strangely? That's the first time he said anything to Van Zyke at all. I'm unaware of any such meeting. But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were insistent. Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. Well, indeed, bailiff.
The music box disc has been entered into the court record. A metal disc used to play music in a mechanical music box. On the reverse side is a note that reads, "For McGilded."
The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing more to add. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and rest my case.
I don't believe it. I had the jury on my side for once, for all 5 minutes. Oh dear. It wasn't even 5 minutes, Reno.
My lord. My lord? I wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of fog up to now, if the truth be told, but all of a sudden. The answer's barely obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it. Oh no. Very well, the court will hear from the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll present your leanings as to the defendant's culpability.
Guilty.
Oh dear.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Was installing that giant flaming scale really a good use of taxpayer money? Who knows?
We have consensus among the jury, it seems.
Icky. One of those was literally Nick's judge voice. Yep, I think so actually.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
That's my line. I wrote that for Hurley. How dare you use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than we realise. There must be, because there's only one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank. That's beyond any doubt.
Maxting, you suspect these folks aren't great at appropriate use of taxpayer stuff? Good point.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation of examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Caradeb Squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty.
Okay, here we go.
Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed to us law-abiding citizens.
Oh, well, thank you. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I'd say the whole case is done and dusted.
You don't need the stereoscope to see the truth here. Which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. Oh, I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief.
The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I'm in for a busy day ahead.
I am ballistic expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about gun.
Not beating the allegations there, are you?
It would seem there's little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I'd jolly well have been hoodwinked. Well, no more. The whole courtroom is turning against me.
It's not fair.
Iris,
That prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done something she shouldn't have done in the past doesn't make her a murderer.
I mean, it could. Allow me to savour this fruity vintage, while I savour the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's the truth coming out, eventually.
Wait, is he secretly using this trial to expose something he's not allowed to outright say? Is he really the hero of this story?
That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination.
And face slap.
Yes, my lord.
Oh yeah, something I don't know if Americans would know, and other countries. When you address the judge as my lord in a British court, because that is accurate, you usually say it my lord, for whatever reason.
Hold it!
Just because Miss Lestrade has a history of pickpocketing, she must be guilty of murder. Is that what you're saying? Oh well, are all members of the British Army so quick to judge? I beg your pardon? Are you mocking Her Majesty's Armed Forces? The greatest military organisation in the world? No, I'm simply illustrating my point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or a pickpocketer is wrong and dangerous. Well, yes, I might have a point there. I suppose. But let's not forget the girl already shown she had it in her from before. She's clearly a criminal sort through and through. Can't deny it. When you say that she had it in her, are you referring to this? Exactly. Tried to swipe that only a day earlier, or am I mistaken? Not exactly. Given that I was actually there at the time, it's hard to refute that. I mean, she didn't try to steal it, it was just in the pocket of what she claimed. I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it. Oh yeah, of course. Mr. Sholmes did use his caramel bars to make a copy of the disc, didn't he? And then ordered every type of music box he could find from across Europe. We still don't know what tune it plays though, do we? Max Sting, have you ever watched the Three Penny Opera? There's a dreadful song, at least in the film version, where they sing about the joy of war crimes in India. The show is not pro-war crimes. Yeah. It's interesting, actually, because until World War I, basically there was not a very positive view of the army at all. Like, professional soldiers were seen as basically just like thugs who took on killing as a career. And then it's, I mean, it didn't help that Oliver Cromwell founded the army in the first place. Obviously, World War I turned things around a bit there because, you know, pretty much all the population was conscripted, and there was a lot of patriotism going on. Max Sting, oh god, so literally exactly like that joke in The Meaning of Life. Exactly. At home they'd hang me, but here they give me a bloody medal. But yeah, there's all obviously criticism of the army has always gone hand in hand with criticism of the Empire. And obviously people are like, there's you know, like being a subject still makes you somewhat complicit, but there's always been people like, obviously nothing's uniform. There has always been people within the British Empire who are against it. Not to excuse their behaviour anyway. Yep, and that's what Wells was describing when he wrote The Martians. Like, the War of the Worlds is literally, and to be fair, a lot of science fiction is literally, what if colonialism was done to white Europeans? In fact, a lot of alien invasion and the like can basically sort of broken down to what if aliens did what we were doing to everyone else to us. But I'd love to see how the original compares to Hurley's copy. McGilded's disc. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps we should examine it in more detail. Let's do that then. I mean, obviously there's a blood stain. Oh, Reno, look. This is blood. Yeah, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before. Ha! It's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Reno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? If the blood turns out to be someone we've seen in a flash. Okay, so the blood on there was from the guy who tried to basically claim the coat off Iris, and it's the same colour as the blood that we thought was Sherlock Holmes's. Yeah, the guy's pseudonym. I can't remember it, Maxting. Like something eggy. A lovely bright shade again. Wait, that colour. What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that colour, is it? The blood sample portfolio has been updated in the court record. From McGilded. That's the man you defended in court a couple of months ago, isn't it, Rune? Yeah, or rather mistakenly defended. I wonder what his name is doing on the back of this disc. That's a question I'd love to know the answer to myself. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I'd say the whole case is done and dusted.
Hold it!
It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlour maid asks me how many are invited to the dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although... Yes? Sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. One or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose, if there was another bullet somewhere, of which we're unaware, I'd have to reconsider my position. A 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene. Could that be possible? Yes. Allow me to show you then the 3rd bullet. Okay, it's going to be in the portfolio.
Take that!
I don't suppose this would pass as the 3rd bullet. It passes for a bullet as much as you pass for a lawyer, my learned friend. Coming from you, I'm going to take that one as meaning not much. In no way does it resemble a bullet, if that helps your understanding of my last remark. Counsel, at the very least, I would expect the evidence you present to be of the correct form. It's been a long day. Let's actually try to find this 3rd bullet before we attempt that again, Reno. Okay, let's try that again. The one time I forgot to save scum. I do like that they don't do like stock fail. No, stock failure.
Hold it!
Do. Okay, no. It looks like I need more evidence. Okay. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. Oh yeah, we know it was the same disc Maxting, because it was given to the detective afterwards. Maxting. This stereoscope is actually a bullet. Okay, you're right. What we need to do is outsmart bullet.
Hold it!
So if I've understood correctly, you need two pictures, a left eye one and a slightly different right eye one. Icky, anything's a bullet if you throw it hard enough. Technically, yes. Exactly. Then you can see the scene in 3 dimensions like this. So if we have two bullets, I don't suppose you can see anything useful with them. Yeah, I think you'll find that no matter how much you squint, the truth of the situation always looks the same here. Max saying you weren't sure it was the same disc because it spent a while in police lockup, and some hinky deal happened during that interlude that made it hazardous to use as evidence, which might mean they switched it in the evidence locker and didn't want it scrutinised. Huh. The only person who could have shot the victim is that girl in the dock. How can you be so sure of that? Hey Goblin, how's it going? Anything's a bullet if you shark hard enough. Ah yes, my favourite D&D enemy. And Pathfinder. Max saying that doesn't seem to be the case because it's the same blood. Yeah, they are kind of cute. And thank you for giving Hanan the shout out, Nihilus. I believe I think the new D&D monster manual has actually given us like baby bullets as well, so that's great. Just part of their whole thing to make sure all the iconic monsters have sort of versions for multiple levels. Think about it, the Skulkin brothers shot the great detective, didn't they? Yeah, that's been mentioned once or twice. Well then, surely it's coming into focus now, isn't it? This is a waste of time. I'm not going to change this man's mind anytime soon.
Hold it!
Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? Max Sting, different manuals have different looks for bullets. You fell in love with the first different Shanae and AD&D MM's version, but later ones have attempted to look gritty and scary, but only managed to make them look kind of cute. Gobbo, doing okay thanks, just attempt to work, but Scribble Cat decided that it's mandatory cuddle times. How terrible. How are we all doing? I'm doing pretty well. I've got a new I've got my first ever airbrush. I've used that for body paint, and there's still a few things to work out. I need more practice with it, but it's pretty the paint's a lot smoother, so that's fantastic. Nihilus, funny thing about sharks, had a brain blast the other night and realised you should definitely make a custom version of that giant ape demon that's blue and has a shark face. Yes. Max Sting, honestly the circumstances and worsening social and political conditions have made you a nervous wreck. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Nurse Shark Belays. Oh yeah, that would absolutely be fantastic. I think they're called nurse sharks because they look after their young. Which would fit with, you know, like, bully pups being a thing now. Exactly, Gobbo. New things to play with. I mean, like, as well as body paint, I can use it for all sorts, like, I can use it for coating molds with encapsulator. I can use it for painting minis, I can use it for painting props. I can use it for everything. Max Sting, you'd make ray bullets, but JG Ballard already did that. Fair enough. Oh yeah, there's a game over here. Also, they're in Vampire Hunter D already. Oh yeah, it's been ages since I saw that. Would you please stop muttering things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here. Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say there's nothing to do with this trial, to be honest. Huh? I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think? I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you're operating on... What's the fellow's name now? Herlick? No, Herlock. Hairlock. Gobbo, the bullet got up and walked away. Hairlock Sholmes by any chance? Oh yes, good lord. It was that Hairlock fellow. Exactly, Icky. It hit the brakes. Thing sucks. You're the surgeon who operated on Mr. Sholmes? That's right, using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major job, I can tell you. This is crazy. Let me see, the fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by a criminal or some other, so I opened it up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to throw up my hands and just stitch the fellow back up. I hate to state the obvious, but... Yes? Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting. The counsel for the defense is correct. As is clearly shown in this photographic print. The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Sholmes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged in the shop wall where the candles hang by the door. Max Sting, Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust holds it really well and does a weird thing where the whole film relies heavily on what is super duper cool. But in the end it has some really heart-wrenching stuff about breaking out of a cycle of violence and actually a reasonable show of vulnerability owing someone to a desperate wish for someone to escape that cycle. Because if he can't, she has no hope to. You cry every time. Yeah, I seem to sort of vaguely recall when I saw it. I was kind of surprised it went that heavy at the end. But at the end of the day, it's just a really good, cool vampire fight movie. On top of that, kind of reminds me of, like, was it Cyber City, Odin? I can't remember the rest. Just has like a vampire show up in the third. Because it's just three sort of OVAs. The third one just has like a vampire as the villain for no reason. Like, it's a science fiction vampire, so it fits, but still. Then exited his body and lodged in the shop wall where the candles hang by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally. Oh, who do you think I am, son? Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do. As soon as I saw the wound to the man's stomach, I flipped him over. Like a pancake? Are you saying he checked his bag? Of course I did, and there wasn't a trace of injury, no sign the bullet had left the body at all. What? That's the point. Only logical conclusion was the bullet was still in there somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I should set about slicing him up. I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? Can someone please explain how it happened? Can someone please solve the mystery? It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. We know where there's a third bullet. Okay, let's try that. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Sorry, old Bean, can't accept that a squadron leader. What? All fighting for a common cause, don't you know, my chaps? No way they contradict one another. Okay, let's load that again. Looks like I've got more things to do.
Hold it!
What do you mean you're in for a busy day? Forgot to say, stop.
Do excuse me, stop. I'm a communications officer, stop.
Communications officer? Does it have something to do with the sending telegrams?
Everything from personal messages written by members of the public to the latest news in the capital. I convert all the messages into Morse code and tap it out to the entire world electronically.
To the entire world?
Thousands of miles under the cable under the sea. Stop. Worldwide communication network. Stop. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the globe. Stop.
Oh yeah. She was getting equally worked up about radio waves all the night before, wasn't she?
I specialise in communicating information from government departments and newspaper offices.
I see.
I'm sure I shall have to wire the newspaper reports of today's guilty verdict later. So no sleep for me tonight, I imagine.
Let's just finish the trial first, shall we? I am ballistics expert. I have seen many shootings. There is nothing I do not know about guns. I thought you were just a tourist.
Icky, I broadcast to the entire world because we hadn't figured out end-to-end encryption yet. Stop.
Good day, I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please.
There's no way he's just a visiting tourist.
So you're a ballistic expert.
Who knew?
I have much experience with gun. I have lived through many, how do you say, extreme and violent, bath of, no blood of,
Extreme violent bloodbaths, perhaps.
Nellis, my countryman says you cannot outsmart Bullet. He has not bet me. Ah, those. Extreme violent bloodbaths. English is very difficult tongue.
Considering the sort of people you associate with, I'm surprised you still have a tongue.
Anyway, if you have questions about bullets and guns, you ask me. There is nothing I do not know, no mystery I cannot solve.
He is very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure.
But if possible, please only in Russian language.
He's not very confident in his knowledge of English, though, is he?
No, still, we should bear it in mind. He's our man if there's a mystery about guns or bullets.
Van Sykes has managed to convince everyone. When you have eliminated the impossible, he said. He hasn't.
If we're going to fight back, we need more material.
And we have to fight back. We have to turn this trial around again. Could ask him about the doctor's missing bullet. Yep. Could try that. Oh yeah, because he's literally saying he wants an expert.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict. The idea that all I do is pit juries against each other.
A ballistics expert. Pitting. P-I-T-T.
Yeah, there you go, Nellis. It's not explicitly a contradiction. On the night in question, Mr. Sholmes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound in his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Sholmes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Sholmes was shot. Juror number 6.
Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you.
This apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4.
Are you able to explain the mystery? I've seen a very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. There was blizzard. I was running away along Mountain Road in freezing cold.
Exactly, yeah. Max think his name is Villain. No less. No, it's the killer.
Golly! The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles, and they were on dog sled.
Mental note, don't ask too many questions.
I was shot from behind, and I fell down in snow. And this situation was very similar to what I hear from today from Doctor. They could not find bullet in my body, and no sign of, how do you say, exit wounds. Then, where'd the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well, if it never hit you, why'd you fall down? Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to side.
What?
One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. It made deep wounds that looks just like bullet wounds. Oh, gracious. Of course, a piece of ice quickly melted inside of me, and that's the solution to the mystery of disappearing bullet. But that doesn't answer the question at all. The shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop. Not some snowy mountain or road in another country.
Gobbo, now let's get back to Pet That Rat. Oh yeah, the most important side story in this entire game. We need to hear more about his pet rat. It's a criminal that we're not allowed to pet it.
Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here.
Bruno, where exactly was Hurley shot again?
Well, according to the report, in his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think.
Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt.
A pouch? Actually, I might not have noticed something like that.
Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps 3 glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in investigations.
What? Really? Doctor, where is the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing? Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember.
Icky. Iris, you can just say cocaine.
If I may. Lord Van Zeeks? While I realise it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination.
Yeah, we know Sholmes is alive. Officially, he's supposed to be in a coma, but we did see like a cutscene earlier at the end of the first chapter where he was saying goodbye to the assistant when she headed off overseas again. Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw that part, but we basically learnt that she's learnt her father's fallen sick, so she has to head off. Yep, and bottle 2, glass 2.
I should inform the defence that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom.
Sorry?
As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wounds. Oh, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with the other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well, while extremely unconventional during a summation examination, I must demand the prosecution presents the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Herlock Sholmes' pouch.
You can hear the Omegaverse fanfics writing themselves.
I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Sholmes on the night in question, is it?
Look at that. One of the files is broken, and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded. Max Sting, I just taught you something you didn't know about Omegaverse, though you bet ChatGPT knows about it. I can't remember. I think it's what's that YouTuber's name?
She used to be called the Nostalgia Chick before she changed her handle to something to her actual name. But I think she did an entire thing on the Omegaverse. Lindsay Ellis, that was it, Icky. I think, well, either her or Red Bard. Exploded? To shreds, you say? So that night, the bullet went from the Skulkin Brothers' gun. Sorry, the bullet from the Skulkin Brothers' gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch. Oh, and it was the glass vial exploding that caused the fellow's injury. Exactly, Gobbo. Shreds, you say? Icky, technically 2 videos. She got a legal letter and made a video about that too. Oh yeah, I remember. That was a wild bit of drama. This bullet did not penetrate victim, but it was deflected into wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear that one mystery has been solved at least. Though it has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. The person who bags the case remained unaltered. Well, at least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easily tonight. Thank you, young man. Thank you very much. Glad I could help. Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester the scruffy pouch as evidence. Hurley's pouch isn't scruffy. Sholmes' pouch has been entered into the court record. The pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing around his waist at the time of the shooting. One of the glass vials is smashed, and there are scorch marks around it. Yeah, it's true, Max Ding. It was scruffy. It's scruffy now because it was shot. I wonder what the difference between a vial and a vial is. Now, the summation examination. It would appear that the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion, Oh wait, let's just look at it in the court record. It's really scorched badly here, just here. Oh, the strap's broken, look. This must be where the bullet hit then. Let me see. The third bullet. What the? Iris, look. Behind where the broken vial was. Do you see it? That's the Skulkin Brothers' bullet. What a stroke of luck that it hit his pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is, there were 3 bullets fired at Winterbanks that night. We found exactly what that Giro was talking about. The third bullet. It's time to press that Giro again, I think. The third bullet has been entered into court of record. A projectile was discovered lodged in Mr. Sholmes' pouch. It caused one of the vials to explode, injuring Mr. Sholmes. These glass vials are full of Hurley's homemade potions. Homemade? Yes, like fingerprint powders to show up where people have touched things. And scent amplifying solution to intensify smell lingering on an object. That's amazing. They're all very easy to use. There's just one thing you have to be careful of. They're all very flammable. Mr. Sholmes is a walking bomb. Either he's passionate about finding out the truth, or just oblivious to the dangers. Oh look, there's a hole here at the back. It doesn't look much like a bullet hole, but clearly something's ripped through the leather with great force. Something must have pierced it somehow to have left this hole behind. Yeah, it looks that way. Mr. Sholmes' pouch both took a beating, didn't they? Okay, we have what we needed. This is the bullet that was fired from the Skulkin Brothers' gun on the instant. Yep, so it turns out it never actually entered Hurley's body at all. Thanks to the thick leather of the pouch he was wearing, it saved him. Hurley's always lucky like that. Well, considering what he had to go through in hospital. I wonder how lucky he really was. Oh dear, poor Hurley. Yeah, so basically the reason he's still not woken up, allegedly, is because basically he had to be, the doctor was looking for the bullet. Which, to be fair, is actually how a lot of people have historically died of bullet wounds. And it's actually why doctors often actually just leave the bullets in. if someone gets shot. Icky. The third bullet has been entered into the court record. At speed. That was a horrific miscommunication. Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a very valuable clue. And you can't afford to overlook anything here, Ranosuke. There's still a way to turn this around somehow. I'm sure of it. Okay, let's go.
Hold it!
Bullet time. Maxting. There's a character in How Do I Flip Brioche reading Ikifu's comments aloud. Sorry, 2 questions. There should be a little like snapbox symbol on the stream itself. Although I don't know. I think you have like a minute or 2. Oh, you found it. There it is, the third bullet.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes, on the night in question in Winterbank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where'd you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Sholmes' pouch. What? This pouch was removed from around Mr. Sholmes' waist before he was taken to hospital, and since then it's been touched by no one. Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulkin brothers that night? Yes, as your lordship has summarised, it hit this pouch, but that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Sholmes. It's clearly visible in this photographic print. Oh. The 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence. Notice, you hope Maxine's computer's sturdier than yours is. It lags yours to hell. You should apply for more jobs today. Good luck, Notice. Yes, that was Mr. Winterbank, and that belonging to the Skulkin brothers. An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. Possibly from a grassy knoll. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that controversial inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Yugi, help me. Working in a court of law has severely injured me somehow. Order! 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 While this summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter. What? Bailiff, bring the witness back to the stand once more. Maxting, you've downloaded the clip. Ooh. Thanks for the clip, Maxting. Notice Van Zags was almost doing the John Cena. You can't see me just there. Witnesses? Governor? Were you listening to proceedings while the defendants carried out the summation examination? Gobbo. It's John Cena. Maxting, the options were to download it or host it to a... Yep, you should just be able to post the clip to Twitch, and you'll get a link. Yeah, exactly. There's a twitch.tv URL. You can just link that in chat. You're a VIP, so you should be able to. We was, Governor. We was. Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question. A third bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that? Gobbo, you've been here just lurking while building things in Valheim because your brain is full of bees. You're not perfectly acceptable. Notice, you think I'm able to pin it or something so it shows up on channel. Yeah, brain bees are the worst. As you say, Maxting. Yeah, hang on, I'll just pin this message. There we go. Okay, there we go. Pinned until the end of the stream. Make of it, Gov? I don't make nothing of it. I've nothing ever can't help it. Is it one of yours? Max Sting, anyway, the first half of what you said was supposed to be that there was a character in Galaxy Express 99. It was plot important, had a body full of bullets that had been fired into him. Just decades of piracy riddled him with bullets. Well then. God blimey, Gov. God blimey, not a chance. In that case, did you have an accomplice? What? No, what? Never. The Skulkin brothers work alone. It's just the two of us, that's our trademark. How soon we forget poor Sulky? Only 2 of the bullets from the crime originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The third bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? Lummy, that's an head scratcher. Counsel for the defense? Yes. I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. Third bullet, and the mysterious missing firearm from whence it came. Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard, and all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this third bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. Okay, I think they had a secret accomplice, but... On that night at Winterbank's pawnbrokery, the brothers must have been working with a third man. The witnesses are clearly doing their best to cover up the existence of this accomplice, but the evidence all points to the fact there was someone else present, someone carrying a gun.
Objection!
Yeah, when a channel's offline, there's also a featured clips thing. And also, you know, you can view the clips of any clip on a channel. Like some people like it, basically have a system set up where it can play a random clip from a raider or someone. Max Sting, did he throw a glass? I don't know. I don't think he did. An accomplice, you say? Pigs will. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 examinations. Yet in all that time, there has not been a murmur of a third man, if this apparently wraith-like being exists. The court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. Oh, we've got the evidence. Oh. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence, that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious character. The Skulkers are lying, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding? Well, counsel? I'm supposed to prove the existence of this accomplice and reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is... Max Sting, they could have brought more guns. No extra people, just extra pistols. It's true. And there's 2 of them, so it would make sense if they both had a gun each. But still, like, they were talking about someone earlier, so yeah. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands. So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it'll make a difference. In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present this evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a 3rd intruder present at the scene?
Take that!
The evidence is right here in this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again is it. Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of the blood samples proves the presence of this 3rd intruder. Well, which one is it? Both of these, because they're the same blood.
Take that!
What am I looking at here? There appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. And that's a blood stain, my lord. A blood stain? Green blood. Curious. Even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some human creature? It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Well, the great detective. New invention. Stop. Not yet appeared in stories. Stop. It's this, you see? It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger spray is a chemical that reacts with different elements in people's blood to change its colour. Yeah, exactly, Maxting. Spock's time travelling again. Different elements in people's blood? Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made of different elements. So by seeing what colour it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. That brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom. Stop. Very exciting. Stop. Was that lady allowed to telegraph in here? An example of this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Winterbank. Oh, a striking blow. Yes, so you see, the green colour of this bloodstain on the calendar shows that someone else was shot in the main part of the shop. Now hold the fire there, young man. Could be from an unrelated incident, couldn't it? No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Winterbank was killed. First year just arguing that someone else was shot by coincidence, and nothing came of it. By golly. Yeah, I hate the stereoscope guy too. Pardon me. Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot on the same day. Maxting. Captain, it appears that we arrived in the wrong time. This appears to be England in the 19th century AD. Ah, we appear to have taken a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Spock lofts a brow. Oh then, whose blood is it? Well, the Skulkin brothers at the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of someone else. A third intruder in fact. Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't delay this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder? Yep, that was his pseudonym. Edgar Benedict. Because of course, he scratched himself on the music disc, so it must be his blood.
Take that!
The man's name is Edgar Benedict. Edgar Benedict? Who on earth are you talking about, Counsel? He paid a visit to Winterbank's pawnbroker on the afternoon before the incident took place. when the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession. That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Egbert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker? Oh, yes, sir. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. Needless to say. Any music box discs too. Exactly, Maxting. We'll get into that, Van Zyck. Inspector Gregson was there at the time and can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc. Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Winterbank for a print showing the fella. Took it from one of his read around and recorded Gubbins is. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Winterbank that morning. And you claim that this man is the brother's accomplice? Well, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Never seen the geezer before in my life. On my life, Gov. On my life. Never seen him. Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yeah, and I can. Then shows the evidence. I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. And this is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something had been missing in this trial from the very start, but now I'm going to drag it kicking and streaming into the courtroom. Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel? Yes, my lord. The defence will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. Okay, and that's the music box disc.
Take that!
As I mentioned before, on the afternoon of the day in question, the defence attempted, deceitfully admittedly, to reclaim this disc from Winterbanks, which is when the aforementioned Egbert Benedict appeared on the scene, I believe. This man attempted to purloin the article from the defendant's possession, no? That's correct, my lord. I myself was present at the time. It was following this that a minor incident occurred. Well, of course, sir. Here's the disc for you. Nellis, that maid is 100% a serial killer. Lysandrov, this world is imperfect, sounding arse. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute, that disc. It's mine. Oh, what do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. Being a music box disc, it has countless small but sharp metal protrusions all over its surface. These protrusions can cause Mr. Benedict's finger to bleed, and the resulting smear of blood is still visible on the disc now. Yeah, apparently he managed to scratch all the way through his glove. Goodness, a blood stain, is it? My sister and I have just analysed the blood stain here in this very courtroom. You seeing my trusty fog again? Like, I have to question how no one saw her firing it. I didn't question it. Exactly, Maxting. Cheap gloves. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Atmosphere 2 or either, so I don't know what you're referencing. Yes, And we've added the results to this portfolio. I say, it's green. Oh, it's exactly the same colour as the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. Oh wait, no, the doctor was number 4. Was it the telegraph lady who was number 5? The man calling himself Mr. Eckert Benedict. He was in Winterbanks earlier that day. Is the accomplice who was present at the scene of the crime the same night. So was someone else there? Look at those 2 brothers now, they're sweating bucket. Wait, what are you talking about? It's boiling in here. My lord, it is the opinion of the defence that Mr. Eckert Benedict should be summoned to the courtroom to testify. It would certainly seem that we can ill afford to ignore this gentleman's apparent presence.
Objection!
This has gone on long enough now. This flagrant ignorance of the mechanics of law. Sherlock Holmes, you say? Yes, I've heard the name. The protagonist in a series of short stories for the vulgar classes. A god of detection or some such. And now you employ chemical substances devised by this fantastical persona in the highest court of the land. I like how he's just like, Sherlock Holmes, he's just a fictional character, you jerk. Notice a VHS board game where the gatekeeper or a similar character nags you for about an hour or so. Except the gatekeeper for 2 years was the whitest Baron Samedi anyone's ever seen. Wild. Max Ding, not what you were imagining. There was a Gargoyles game that came with a VHS tape like that. And there was a Star Trek TNG game that famously gets referenced a lot. Do you expect it to take you seriously? The samples made by this plaything are not fit to be called evidence. So the bloodstain turned a shade of green. What of it? Here's you successfully proving that no other blood in the world would turn the same colour. Well? And pray, do not even think of suggesting that we should take Mr. Sholmes' word for it. Is he right? Is Mr. Sholmes' concoction a load of rubbish? I don't know. I mean, he is a great detective. What are you talking about? We can't let him get away with that. I knew it would come to this. Of course, Mr. Sholmes' invention isn't going to be recognised by any official body. But what other choice did I have? I'm just remembering what Father Christmas over there said before. Oh, thank God. Someone else has said it. About how he was temporarily suspending the summation examination. In other words, the examination isn't over yet, is it? Good grief! What did you just say, young girl? In a summation examination, the decision as to whether or not the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way I see it, it doesn't matter what certain other people think of Hurley's invention. At least, not for now. Yeah, she's right. Young lady, you have quite the devious mind. Really just comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Reno. To be fair, that is the entire point of the jury system. Is that about right, would you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable. Mr. Sholmes' partner is a force to be reckoned with. Iris Wilson, sharpshooter. Oh yeah, people tend to forget, well, not so much because of Sherlock now, but obviously Dr. Wilson was a former army medic, so he was actually pretty good with a gun. Like, in the novels, he was the guy who actually shot people. After that shrewd piece of After that shrewd process of the situation from an entirely unexpected source, it must be acknowledged that the previous summation examination is yet to reach its conclusion. Max Ding, you sure if Watson missed he'd blame it on his war wound? Exactly. And it was very inconsistent. This is absurd. Damn, not here. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the court now looks to you for your final leanings on this matter. As proud citizens of Her Majesty's Britain, I'm sure you'll come to fair and just conclusions. So then, state your final decisions in turn, please.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Guilty.
Hey.
Guilty.
Not guilty.
Okay, we're 2 for 4. Two call guilty and 4 call not guilty. Such is the outcome of the summation examination.
Objection.
My lord, with all due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? As I don't like it. This is literally a la moment. It's like, you can't say that because it would hurt my case. Max Ding, okay, Lestrade wannabe. Oh, Lestrade is the teenage, the 17-year-old rogue who's in the dock. Gina Lestrade. And yep, Lestrade in this game is just a teenage rogue with a grenade launcher for some reason. Max Ding, but Lestrade was the police lieutenant and whatever was... Yeah, exactly. Inspector Gregson has that role in this story. Yep, it's true though. Van Zykes is also somewhat doing the whole annoyed by Holmes' better theory. If these jurors are persuaded by some half-baked concoction devised by a pretentious or real police work, then they're to be ignored, too ignorant to be trusted with the judgment of anyone's guilt. I'm sorry, Lord Van Zykes, but the outcome of the summation examination cannot be ignored. This trial will continue. Max Ding, apologies for the confusing choice on your part. You just kind of think of this as homelessness behaviour. Amazing. Nevertheless, we find ourselves in rather an awkward situation. The defence has very recently requested the subpoena for a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. 1. The name of the gentleman gave himself, Edgar Benedict, is quite clearly false. No less, Holmes caused frenzied flame or something. Max Ding. You were homeless most of last year, you'd know. Yeah, glad you found a place, by the way. I know everything else in America's going a bit... But I hope things are improved, at least is an improvement. I don't believe it. Just when I'd managed to prove the man was there in that night. I mean, shouldn't that just be a mistrial then? Or like, oh, you're supposed to prove that she's not guilty. You don't need to like literally just catch the guy who actually did it. Oh wait, no, it's the attorney, of course you do. Could I say something? Who was that, please? Who spoke? Oh, it was me, my lord. Juror number 5. What have you to say, madam? If possible, Inspector. Me, ma'am? I wonder if you might show the photographic print to me again. The one in which the gentleman is shown. Oh, right, yeah. This one you mean. Of Mr. Benedict. Okay, I might have to end this stream early, by the way, because I've been basically asked to cover bakery tomorrow morning. Yes, there's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5, you don't mean to say you know this man? Yes, I know him. What? No. Good gracious. Order, order, order. Juror number 5, how on earth? Max Ting in a Charlton Heston voice. Oh my god!
I'm a communications officer. Stop.
As we can clearly see.
The gentleman in the photograph is. Stop. Also a communications officer. Stop. He works in my office. Stop.
What?
A very talented operator, in fact. Stop. He should be in the communication station now. Stop. Tapping away in the telegraph. Stop.
This doesn't seem right somehow. I can't put my finger on why, but it doesn't feel right.
I suppose we all imagined the accomplice would be some sort of hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected to find out if he has a respectable job by day, whatever he gets up to at night.
Yeah, I suppose that's it. I suppose that's why I felt something wrong. If the gentleman is at London's communication station, we should be able to subpoena him within the hour. Lord Van Zykes, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Make the necessary arrangements with all haste. As your lordship bids. The court will recess for 1 hour. When the new witness arrives, we shall reconvene to hear the gentleman's testimony. Inspector Gregson?
Yes, my lord.
I should like to hear from you specifically about events at the pawnbroker on the day in question. Come to my chambers during the recess.
No less. Stop. I'm an officer at communications.
Yes, my lord. Sorry, yes, sir, my lord. Very well, court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m.
To be continued. Okay then. Right, as I said, I'll call it here. Max Ting, stop in the name of comms. Okay, glad you enjoyed it, Max Ting. You're welcome, Gobbo. I hope you have a good rest of your day as well. Max Ting, you got to head over to Grand Gobbo Barb's. Okay. Don't save, I've already saved. Okay, and I'll just find someone to raid. Might just go dash ducks if there's no one else. Oh yeah. Switch to the main screen. Let's see who's live. No one really springs out that I know particularly well. I guess we'll just go dash ducks then. I am sorry about the sort of drip down my face here, by the way. So yeah, I'll be back on Wednesday with more Ace Attorney. Thursday, something's happening on Thursday. Just give me a sec. Oh, yep. Thursday I'll be streaming more Blades in the Dark, and that's going to be a co-stream from my this channel and Nick's channel. And then on Friday, why didn't I check? Oh yeah. Friday is going to be on Nick. I'll be on Nick's channel. It's going to be the Book of Dust, a follow-up to the Guild of Icons, the actual play I was in before. I'll be playing an all-new character. He's actually kind of based on one character from Ace Attorney. We'll see if you can guess who. And she's not going to be a good person, which will be fun. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you all again on Wednesday. And oh yeah, you still need to pick a hook for Blades in the Dark session. If you could let me know about that. Luckily, I don't need much prep for it. But anyway, we're going to raid off in a moment. So, ready in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. And have a lovely evening. And if you're watching YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. You're still my favourites. Oh, you know what? Just put your favourite. Mention any sort of who's your most recent tabletop RPG character you've rolled. That's always interesting in the comments.